Welcome to the Little Duck Book Club with duck number 1,
Ren, and duck number 2.
Anna, and welcome to another tier list. We love a good tier list. We've done romance tropes, we've done Crescent City, conspiracy theories, we've done covers, and today we're going to go back to the tropes. We're talking about fantasy tropes, or like story writing fantasy tropes, specifically. Because, again, who doesn't love a good tier list? So, maybe
Who doesn't love a bad tier list also?
Who doesn't love a tier list?
F-tier list, one could say.
You know, in like 15 years, we gotta rank our tier list videos. It's like...
In 15 years, we're like, okay, 20 tier list videos, let's go.
So, we have the beautiful neutral tier, again, that is... And then going up we have it's neat and yeah and top tier, and down we have don't like it, no, and kill me. I think kill me is new. I think, did we have this the last time?
We did have kill me last time, but we didn't have any trope that we put under kill me.
Right, because
but it's just there in case we need it, you know.
I think because we didn't have like pregnancy as a trope, so we didn't get to pull it into kill me.
I thought about putting like magical pregnancy on here, but then I was like, no, we have enough other tropes, so we don't need it. I don't want to see it.
We don't need to do that to ourselves. So just for some insights, I did give Ren some tropes because I was like, oh, I found these, but this is a surprise for me again. So I'm seeing this for the first time. I see. Okay. Okay. I like it. Some stuff made it in. Some new stuff is in there.
Yeah. A good mix. I would never ignore your efforts. Okay. Also, it was hard finding good trope.
It was.
Because some lists are so terrible, and you go, "What? This isn't even a trope. This is just a thing that sometimes it's not."
You're right.
You can't say this.
And maybe
one of the lists I looked at for fantasy tropes just listed dragons and magic, and I was like, "That's not a trope. You can't."
I saw
dragons are not a trope.
I saw that on several lists, and I was like, that's not a trope. That's like a setting thing.
A wise dragon or an evil dragon, that would be a trope. But you can't just say dragon. That's like me saying, hey, you know what's a trope in books? Science. That's not a trope. You can't say this.
Yeah, it's like a genre, almost.
Yeah, it's just an element that can be in books. And you're like, well, that's not right? Like a love interest is not a trope. It's just an element of storytelling that can be there and can be executed different ways.
Yeah,
it's just
And maybe as an additional insight, we have each trope here twice, one for each duck. Because, we have different opinions. So yellow is for duck number 2, and violet, purple, is for duck number 1.
Yay!
Because those are our favorite
The same
colors.
color our headphones are in all the art.
Yes, if you haven't noticed by now.
It's the identifying feature.
The colors. The little sunshine and the black cat. Yeah, it's a good fit. All right, so do we want to just start from the left, or do you have a favorite you want to start with?
I don't have a favorite. I think last time we just picked one like alternatingly, but we can also just go from the left. I'm not passionate about anything here.
Okay, so you get to pick first. You did the work, you get to pick
okay,
first.
we're doing picking. Okay. Then we're gonna start with MacGuffin, which by the way, when you wrote it down, you were like, I don't even know how to write this. And I was like, you know what? I don't know how to spell this either. And then I didn't look it up. So this is incredible work on my part.
I was like, is it MC or MAC? Like,
and I was like,
McDonald's
I think it's MC,
or
but
MacGyver?
also it's like a recently invented word. So you can just probably write it however. So if we misspelled it, don't worry about it. It was on purpose. For engagement farming. We want everyone to comment about it.
I was about to say, write the angry comments. Tell us how we spelled it wrong.
Tell us we're wrong.
That's for engagement. Okay, so MacGuffin. Maybe explain a short moment what a MacGuffin is.
A MacGuffin is a powerful object, artifact. It doesn't need to be a literal artifact. It can also be like a spell or whatever. That is never really explained, but we know it's powerful, and typically both the protagonist and the antagonists are interested in it and going out to get it, to, own it, to stop it, to use it, something like that. But the important thing is that the MacGuffin motivates the characters, but it is not fully explained and often isn't even, arrived at. It's just a thing that's there to drive the plot, basically.
Yeah. Yeah. Like I would say a MacGuffin would, for example, be the star stick from Lightlark. It's just there and just a plot device to the highest degree.
Okay, but I would also say in Lightlark, the world building is so bad, I don't even know if anything qualifies as a MacGuffin. I feel like the Star Stick is one of the more explained artifacts in the Lightlark lore.
True that.
Right?
True that.
But typically MacGuffins are badly explained, and for a while they were extremely common in fantasy literature, which is why the term exists. Because it was so common that people were like, hey, this is familiar. I've been seeing this a bunch of times.
Mm-hmm. So where would you put your MacGuffin?
I am actually putting the MacGuffin in because I don't mind it, but it also can be annoying.
Yeah.
Like, if I think about it, I don't feel super strongly. I think it's totally valid to, in your story, have a super cool artifact that is originally the motivations for people to go out and do stuff. But then if you incorporate it correctly into the story where it's like, oh, this was an in-universe fiction in the first place, it wasn't real or whatever, then I think it works great. Mm-hmm. But also you can have it as a super powerful artifact that's not explained that actually affects the plot directly, which I think then sucks. But I think you can use it well, and I don't think I've read much works that actually have MacGuffins, so I don't feel very strongly about it. I think I might be more annoyed if I had read a bunch of stuff that had very prominent MacGuffins that weren't explained and did a lot of stuff. But since I haven't, I'm like, yeah, I can see how it could be okay, but I could also see how it would be super fucking annoying.
No, I get it. I think my MacGuffin would also be at like I don't feel intensely enough for it to be like I don't like it. I like what you said. I didn't even think about that, but yeah, I like what you did when it's like in the story it also turns out to be like just a weird artifact or something that doesn't even exist. So it's like, oh, the MacGuffin like scammed us in a way. What I hate, and I feel like sometimes that does happen with long stories, is when there's multiple MacGuffins. It's like
oh my god,
it's like a multi-geocache, where it's like you don't just get to one point and you find the geocache, but it's like it contains the coordinates for the next one, and it's just like one MacGuffin at a time. In the way like I wouldn't say that in Crescent City 3 there were lots of MacGuffins, but a similar plot progression. Where it's like you're trying to think like, okay, we finally on track, but you're not on track because the next MacGuffin comes around.
I was about to say a good example for a MacGuffin would be the Cauldron in ACOTAR, which is super powerful but literally never explained, and it does stuff, but also for the power it possesses in theory, it doesn't do a lot. It's just kind of there for people to want it.
Yeah.
And that's not good. But
you don't say.
But so are many things in ACOTAR, so it's the MacGuffin is not the part there that upsets me, really.
Yeah.
So but I think like another MacGuffin could be, I hate mentioning it, but like in the first Harry Potter, the Sorcerer's Stone, the Philosopher's Stone, like it is ascribed a lot of, magical power. Everyone wants it, but then it's also not really in the book at all. It's just a motivator, right?
Yeah.
And in that case, it's a lot less annoying because it's like, oh, this is a great artifact, but also it doesn't affect the plot. So you don't have to worry about the fact that it's not explained or game-breakingly powerful because it's just never used.
I was about to say, it's like in that case, it's so like insignificant to what actually happens in the plot. Like it drives it. It's like it haunts the narrative in that way.
Yeah, but the problem with MacGuffins arises when they actively interact with the plot in that their power affects what is happening, but they're totally fine as a tool to just motivate your characters to do a thing. Yeah. So I'm just like, yeah, it's okay. I have no strong feelings on the MacGuffin.
That's, All right, I'm gonna pick something I have very strong feelings about, actually. And that is the tournament arc. And for me, that's a top tier. It goes up. What I understand as a tournament is always, like, it can be an A plot, but I also really like it if it's like a B plot in a story, where it's like, oh, we're going like away from the main thing to do the tournament, and then we come back to the A plot. I just love a good game show, you know, and especially in the more medieval fantasy kind of stuff, a tournament usually involves knights or horses, and I just love
the horses. Yeah, I know how you like it.
And I just love a good tournament. Listen, that's why when I first read the Blightlark plot, I was like, a tournament?
Sign me up! And the tournament sucks.
A tournament! And it's so bad, right?
It's not even a tournament.
I love a good tournament. Same thing. We just mentioned it, and we don't want to mention it again that many times, but Harry Potter, the 4th book, the tournament, I was like, a tournament! I was so ready. So a tournament for me, top tier. I love it. I love it.
Somebody's like, tournament, and like a dog that hears the word walk, you are ready. Your tail is wagging, your ears are at attention, you are hype.
I'm so hyped. Like, cause listen, okay, before you give your judgment, a tournament doesn't have to be the big thing. I love the big thing, okay? I love the whole city is up in arms about the tournament, and like everything is going crazy and stuff. I love that. But a tournament can also be a nice, like, just show of skill. Like, oh, let's have the best archers, you know? And then it's like, archery was never this exciting, you know, like as in a tournament. So I rest my case. So top tier for me, at least. I love it.
I will say I also like a tournament arc, though I don't feel as strongly about it, because my experience with it is that on occasion, and this really depends on the medium too.
Oh yeah.
I have read tournaments and books where it's just, it feels annoying because A, you know exactly how it's going to end because you know how stories work because you're not 5, and B, there is a different story going on, and the amount of pages that are sometimes devoted to describing the fights is such a waste when you know exactly what the outcome is going to be anyway, that often it just feels like, okay, why are we here? What are we doing for so many pages? And that can be annoying because then it's overextended. But even more annoying, and this is less in books and more my experience with anime, that sometimes there will be a tournament arc and it grinds the plot to a halt for like 30 episodes. And at the end of it, you go, why did we do this? We could have, limited this to maybe 5, maybe 10 episodes. It did not need to be like this. What are we doing?
With you mentioning anime, I'm immediately thinking about the ninja exams in Naruto. And I remember being so fucking pissed during the first thing, because you were like, oh, it grinds the whole thing to a halt, like 30 episodes. In Naruto, I don't know how the English say it, it doesn't get finished, because, there's a fight going on.
It gets interrupted, yeah.
Right? And I was like, the fuck? I wanted to see the end. I will never know.
You're like, my tournament!
My tournament! Stop! But yeah, I can see why you're saying it can. It certainly can take lots of speed out of a story.
Yeah, and And at some points, it's just like, okay, yeah, I get that you like your characters and that you think fighting is cool, but there are different problems that our plot is about, and we're kind of losing sight of the things that matter right now. What are we doing?
Yeah, because you have a person, like one editor or something, on the sidelines of the author going, tournament!
Tournament, yeah!
Tournament! This is not too long. Add 10 more pages.
Right, but I feel this way. I mean, I think in books it sometimes also happens where action and fight scenes are written by people who really like action movies or martial arts movies, and they don't really understand that for a reader, it is way more exhausting to read 5 pages of fighting than it is for somebody to watch 5 minutes of fighting, because the mental energy to try to construct what the fuck these people are actually doing is so much higher. And reading 5 pages often takes much longer than watching 5 minutes of fight. Yeah. And I mean, often my eyes just glaze over. I just read what's happening, but I'm not imagining anymore. I'm like, I don't need to know what these people are doing exactly. I'm just taking whatever information is relevant here. I'm not doing Kopfkino anymore. We're done here.
The Kopfkino is just out. Sorry, no cinema anymore. Yeah, no, canceled. I get it. This is not a civil war situation yet.
Maybe it will be eventually. We'll see.
I don't see any problematic tropes here. I think that would.
I love the idea that we could only fight over problematic things and not just personal taste.
We fight so many times off screen. So
oh yeah, it's real rough in the Little Dark Book Club. There's feathers flying all the time.
You could make a whole pillow out of the feathers. Okay, next one. Ding, ding, ding.
Next. Ding, ding. Okay. I think next one is The Apocalypse.
Interesting.
Which I'm actually gonna have a hot take and say, I don't like it. I
just want to pause for a second. I looked at you, I was like, it's gotta be I don't like it. Okay, continue.
It's not only have I never seen this done well, it is also simply not interesting, because in basically any story you read, you know exactly that the world is not going to end, so the threat is useless. There is nothing interesting in telling me, oh, the world is definitely going to be destroyed. And it's like, no, it's not. It's definitely not. Not in a mainstream published novel. Shut the fuck up. I know it's not gonna happen. Give me a more interesting threat than this. It's not happening. I know it's not happening.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. In most books, it's not really gonna happen. So
or
you mean...
if it happens, it's gonna be... the time's gonna get turned back, and everyone who died is gonna come back. I have read this before, where basically you were at the bad end of the story, and then it was like, oh, you know, some magical shit happens, and then it's like, oh, we're starting over. And like somebody sacrificed themselves and is gone now from the timeline or whatever, but everyone else is back before the story began, before everything went to shit. And I was like, I don't like this. That sucks. I hate this. This is like the worst way to do this.
Okay, because the first thing that came to my mind is Mortal Instruments. Would that count? Because like, who sacrifices Simon sacrifices his memories or something?
But I mean, that's not an apocalypse, right?
Yeah.
He's just... I'll be so honest, I don't remember much of the books anymore.
I don't remember there was something about a lake and an angel at the lake and then
No,
Clary.
I remember that was in the 3rd book, but Simon sacrifices like at the end of the 2nd trilogy, after they introduced all those god-awful kids that I didn't care about because they were gonna be the protagonists of the next books.
Crazy
I just know Simon sacrificed his memories and then got them back basically immediately, which was so stupid.
It's like a little wink wink, you know? The same they did in the TV show.
We totally did a sacrifice. But also, don't worry, you don't have to be sad. This is a story for babies. It's like...
My favorite thing in a TV show is Clary losing her memories. And the distinction between Clary, who knows her memories, and Clary, who doesn't, is that she has a pony. Like bangs. When she's at her art gallery showing, and Jace comes in and he's like, oh, want to take a look at the art, and then she turns around and she can see him. And that's the end of the show. He's like, oh, you can see me? The first thing I say in the first episode. It's kind of cute. Okay, the apocalypse. So you mean in terms of... So you mean in terms of the trope, as in the trope is the looming apocalypse? Like if the heroes don't win, the world's gonna end?
It's both. Either it's looming or it's... I also don't like disaster movies and stuff like that. I also think they're stupid. So it's...
Okay, I have to disagree here. I do like a disaster movie, especially if it's very camp. That does something to me. But the apocalypse... I guess it's so prevalent in so many stories where it's like, if we don't get this thing done, then everything goes to shit. It depends. I like it. I think it's okay. It's neat if we actually get to see already if we see effects that apocalypse would have already. In terms of, if we have in a fantasy story, if we have, an evil guy, and we, gonna take over the world, I don't know, open the gates to the evil heaven lands, and then the monsters come out, whatever. If we can already see parts of what that apocalypse would look like, I think it's kind of neat. But if it's just this very abstract, looming, bad thing that might happen, I don't think it's fun. For example, I'm thinking of Dragon Age Inquisition, and the introduction very early on, we see just a glimpse of what would happen if we don't fix our problem that we have in the story, in the game. And it's not fun. So obviously you're immediately you know what, this is something we have to address, that is worth fighting for. But if it had just been, oh yeah, there's this thing that will happen and it's bad, then I wouldn't, I don't like it. But I think overall, I'm going to say it's neat. Yeah.
I mean, I do think people will have different interpretations as what they count as an apocalypse.
Yeah, that is
because just the world changing fundamentally, sometimes maybe even for the worse, isn't necessarily an apocalypse.
Yeah.
I feel like that's a bit more intense than just, oh, yeah, a bad thing will happen. It's okay.
The US over there is
I mean, we're all sitting here I'm so excited to live through the climate apocalypse. Yay.
But I'm also gonna say it's neat because I do like a little world-ending doom kind of natural disaster story. It's neat if it's neat. I'm just gonna leave it at it. It's neat. Yeah.
You just think it's neat.
Yeah. Oh no, I have to choose again, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so this captured my eye as soon as you shared the screen, but I'll have to ask you to explain what exactly are the scopes of this trope, and that is the Dark Lord.
I mean, that's I love that you put a British accent. The Dark Lord.
What do you mean, darling? I don't know.
I mean, I think it's pretty self-explanatory. This is more like a
Are you calling me dumb?
Vibes trope. You have an antagonist who is, obviously, an evil guy, but that's not enough. He also has to have diversity.
I was about to say.
they need to have the drip, the style. There need to be either demons or shadowy castles or evil magic. Maybe he's
People are grinding on each other. This is a den of sin.
Stop quoting me.
I'm sorry. Yeah, sorry. Not everybody can have a bone castle.
Yeah, right. Like, the castle has the typical stylings. They probably even have some dark adjacent magic. They probably have like a torture dungeon. Maybe they have some evil pets or something that eat people. You know, it's like a very... Stop laughing!
I'm sorry.
This is very serious.
Yeah, okay, they have a... like,
Dark
like,
Lord will get us otherwise.
they're like evil. Okay.
Yeah, the stereotypical, what people imagine when they think of the classic antagonist in like an epic fantasy story. Maybe he's even got some like skull pauldrons or something, it's...
Whatever rocks their boat. Okay.
Yeah, dresses in black, purple, green, like evil bubbling green liquid. You know how it goes. It's just...
Yeah, just a little death potion on the side. Okay, I feel conflicted. I think I have to put this as don't like it, with the reason being that and I mean this goes for everything, right? If done well, it's fun and all. Right. And I think the goth girlies are gonna really not like me for this. But usually it doesn't do anything for me in the terms of just because I'm like, this is just an interior design choice. Just because somebody makes their stuff look like this and dresses like this and has, a flair for the flamboyant dark urges, to me doesn't immediately make a villain. And a lot of time the only thing that gets added up to it is sassy. And then that's all there is.
Torture often.
And loves torture. And to me, that's usually just lazy. So, like, 95% of Dark Lords you meet and see aren't... Like, for example, I'd be like, okay, the ring wraiths from Lord of the Ring. Or, like, that's kind of a cool Dark Lord. They have their aesthetic and everything, right? But they are still... It's
They've got more
like...
going on,
It's like, like makeup. It enhances their natural nasty spirit, and it's not the first... Stop laughing, this is serious. And it's not, a lot of times, I think, especially thinking about romantasy, a lot of times this is just... It's just cosmetic. And doesn't really...
Oh, for sure. I mean, in romantasy it is, because they're too scared to write an actual villain romance. So the guy just looks cool and dresses slightly goth. But they don't even wear eyeliner. It's embarrassing. They can't even commit to the bit.
Yeah. And I mean, another Dark Lord where I'm like, okay, I think this one is alright, is the Darkling from Shadow and Bone. Because he doesn't live in his goth castle, right? He's just like, I'm gonna wear my own...
He's just trying to rizz up 17-year-olds and failing.
He's got that going on for him, He's not one-dimensional. But yeah, no, I don't like it. I'm sorry.
No, that's fair. I'm kind of torn on this because sometimes I do love a campy, tropey, little weird evil guy. Sometimes it's fun. And I will also admit, I don't really see that as often in stuff anymore. I feel like, especially in the last 10, 15, maybe even 20 years, fantasy has kind of moved into a different storytelling style generally, where many stories don't even really have the big bad in that sense anymore.
Yeah, yeah.
But a lot of them have like twist villains that at first seem sympathetic, but then get revealed as, oh, actually they have evil plans and they were manipulating someone. Like there's more nuance in some cases, or just simply a different approach to what gets, you know, the evil vibes associated.
A little bit more range.
So I feel like the classic evil lord is kind of died out a bit. Like when I think of the Dark Lord, my first thought is like Skeletor, which I think is very charming, but it's also, you know, so maybe I'm just not well versed in the trope, because I don't even think I can think of that many characters who fall under that, if I'm seriously thinking about it. So I think I'm gonna have to go with a classic on this one.
Yeah, no, that's valid. That's completely valid. Alright, what else do we have?
Oh no, I have to choose, right?
Yeah. I was just reading through it.
I am curious, because this also came from you as a suggestion.
Oh, yeah.
The false protagonist. The example that you gave was Ned Stark. Yeah. Which I understand how that is meant, but I also feel like, I mean, A Song of Ice and Fire has so many POVs that I feel like calling anyone specifically the protagonist is a little odd. Yeah, but I understand the implications that, like, oh, you see him and you think, oh, this is the classic good guy, stoic hero. He's probably gonna make it out fine, and then he gets beheaded. Tragic. Shouldn't have cast Sean Bean.
You don't sound that sad, you know, upon further inspection.
Yeah, I mean, it's sad for him, but also it was kind of fun. Like, let's be honest. Like, a public execution was kind of a vibe.
Do we need to add that next trope? Public execution.
And then secret executions. What's better?
Well, those usually happen in silence with a knife, you know?
That's also true. So yeah, I think... Again, I feel like in A Song of Ice and Fire, it's difficult to be like, oh, he's like the protagonist, because again, it's such a multi-POV book that, you know, people can die because you don't have that many. So I'm trying to think of a situation where I have read a story that introduced someone as the protagonist and then dropped them. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So I feel like, I mean, I think in A Song of Ice and Fire, it's done well. It plays with the reader's expectations of standard fantasy tropes, right? Yeah. So it's like, oh, that's an interesting subversion because it also makes sense in the world that this would happen, right? Yeah. But I'm just imagining. You have a third-person limited POV. You have the guy you think is your protagonist, and you have him for like 20 out of 40 chapters, and then he just dies and you get a new guy. I think I would not like that. I think I would not like that a lot. I think it would definitely depend on how far you take the joke, you know? Like, how far do you take the false protagonist joke? I think the way I can see it working is that, you know, you think your POV character is the protagonist, but the longer the story goes on, you realize that, oh, this is definitely actually what would classically be considered the villain in a story, but, you know, it obviously, protagonist just means your point of view character, like, you know, but it's also associated with, like, oh, he's the hero or whatever. So then in that case, that it's like, oh, okay, so you have that part from that character's POV, and then maybe the next part of the story from somebody else's, and you realize, oh no, that's bad.
Yeah.
That's not a good. So I can imagine it working too. So I will say in the example given, I do like it, but as a general idea, I feel like this is there's too many ways this can go horrendously wrong that I don't think it's a good idea.
So yeah, when I found so I was looking also through lists, and at first I was like, oh, this doesn't seem like that big of a trope. Until I looked at several lists and I found it several times. I was like, I guess this is a bigger thing and like broader.
Or they're all just copying each other's homework.
Or they do that. I did find it in one Reddit thread though as well, where people were discussing it. What came to my mind as well, this is like, it's not as long as the Ned Stark thing. I think it's like 2 or 3 chapters, but Realm Breaker starts that way, where you get introduced to this hero group and you're like, that's my guy, that's the main character, he's gonna do the shit, that's his squad, and then he gets killed and you're like, oh shit, I have to attach to the other side characters now, and then they become part of like the second squad that actually does the plot, and in that way I did like it. You saying this could go wrong because it's taken too far is, I think, something that ruffled a lot of feathers in The Last of Us 2, where, spoiler, they kill Joel midway through, or like after the first third, and then you start to play a new character, but there it doesn't feel like a false protagonist, right? Because Joel is the protagonist for the whole first game. So it's not like he just dies.
Yeah, sometimes people die.
That just happens. That being said, I think I'm gonna put it at it's neat. Because I do like a good. I attach very fast, and I do like a good twist that makes me mad in a good way. There's also twists that make me mad in a bad way. But yeah, I think false protagonist is something that I would enjoy a bit more. Because it also makes... I think if authors would do this a little bit more often, it would raise the stakes when reading a little bit more. When you're like, oh, anything can happen. Yeah. I think it heightens the overall... Like, with Game of Thrones, it heightened the overall stakes. Because you were like, oh, this can happen to these characters, right? They don't have unlimited plot armor. They can just get killed midway through.
I would say this could also, I think this only works in more complex multi-POV narratives, because I don't think you can do this in any other context. I think in any other context it is too annoying to really do.
I think it would be very hard to pull off in like a first POV thing. Because then you would have to like... And the next POV would have to be a character that you already get introduced a lot throughout the first POV. And like a situation where sometimes in books it switches, right? So you have the thoughts of each person, but they don't speak it out. But then it would be, instead of switching, it would be like switching once because the other person dies. So
right, yeah.
It would be hard to pull off. So please don't try it, Sarah J. Maas. Please don't.
Oh God. You know she could not do this. She just starts sidelining her main character. And
she doesn't kill them. She just, yeah.
I also imagine that after the success of A Song of Ice and Fire and Game of Thrones, that there were a lot of copycats, and I imagine most of them are pretty bad. And at that point, it was like telegraphed that, oh, this is my good guy, I'm definitely gonna kill him. At which point, it gets boring again. Yeah.
Also, but because, No, continue, please.
I was just gonna say, conceptually, I feel like this has so much potential to go so wrong that I don't really trust it.
Yeah. Okay, next one. because I'm reading something right now that goes into this trope, I'm gonna pick The Mentor. I'm reading Assassin's Apprentice right now, which is like Fitz is literally an apprentice to a mentor. So it's like, I would say I do like this trope usually, because I like it when a protagonist has to learn or does learn something. So having a mentor who does not only show like the skill in something, but also is like a life mentor kind of person, I like that trope. That being said, sometimes a mentor gets used as like a Wikipedia for the main character. And gets them out of the most ridiculous situations.
Yeah.
Or does things for shits and giggles so that the protagonist has to go through sometimes heinous things. And then the mentor is like, well, I did teach you a lesson, boy. I am very much looking at Gaius from Merlin. Because the shit this man pulls a couple of times. Like, I love this old man, but at the same time, a couple of times watching the show, I was like, Gaius, are you fucking serious? So, I'm gonna say I can't have too many things and it's neat, but it's not a yeah for me, because it's also not it's neat. Let's put it at it's neat. It's not a because I like it too much for a because I like a good mentor relationship. I think it's interesting and fun, and you can do a lot of like plot related stuff with it, like loyalty towards the mentor. How far does it go? It's still somewhat, it's like this weird relationship that's professional, but at the same time, and depending on the intensity, it goes into like, it sort of feels like family in a way. So yeah, it's neat. It's neat. But
yeah, no, I agree. I also think it's neat. I love a good mentor, but there's also a lot of bad ones. Not in they're bad at teaching, but their role in the narrative sucks. So, yeah, it is a bit risky because sometimes it's also just, the same way that you have the side braid for mothers in anime where you're like, oh, that's a red flag. Sometimes the mentor behaves in a way where you're like, oh, you're tragically dying pretty soon to motivate someone. Okay. Yeah. Okay, cool. So...
Like I would say, for example, a mentor where it was like, this was actually a waste of space on the page was... That's a bit harsh. But was Bagra from Shadow and Bone. Because I was like, girl... There's so many things you could have told us earlier that would have made Alina's life less hell and actually could have like significantly changed the outcome of the first book. But she was just a bad mentor. So, yeah.
I think for her, there's a lot of things where just like, why is she written? She's not really written like a character in many ways, where you're just like, you're really implying to me that this several hundred years old woman is just watching her son make the worst decisions ever for everyone, and she never intervenes in any way.
It's the average parenting experience. I don't know what you're talking about. Yeah.
A bit, but then it's also like, girl, what?
Yeah,
do something. You're supposed to, like, we learn you're super powerful too. Do something. Me shaking her, do something, and then she just dies.
Yeah.
So, I guess that's is something.
That's why it's neat to have, but still got
a lot of mentors are just kind of shit for the reader.
So far, I like the mentor in Assassin's Apprentice. They already had their first big fights. It was lovely. Can only recommend.
That's great. I'm glad you're having a good time with that.
All right, gotta pick the next one.
I'm gonna go with Secret Identity.
Ooh.
Which, while having its pitfalls, I think a Secret Identity fucks. I love identity porn. I think it is one of the funnest things you can play with when several people have secret identities and interact in different constellations, and the secret identities present different aspects of them. I think that is so fun. The comedy potential is unmatched. I think this is... I mean, there's also serious drama, but I think, especially as a comedy trope, this fuck. Obviously, you can do it badly, but it is so funny to me. It is so fun. I love that.
I love where, like, you know, like, very humble intro, and then this fucks, boom, just you. I'm gonna say, for me, Secret Identity is a yeah with 3 4 exclamation marks. Oh my god. Or is it, no, it's 4,
it's
3.
3. Wait.
Oh, damn.
Come back.
It doesn't where did you put it? Yeah.
It fell. I didn't do it on purpose.
In a similar way like you had for tournament, it does excite me. It's basically my favorite aspect about any, I know this isn't fantasy, like, but like superhero story, where it's like, oh, the people around them don't know, and a secret identity is just fun, especially if you have multiple POVs. And one of my favorite things about secret identity is that one person thinks they're being super suave and secret, and the other person knows. That is, to me, one of the funniest secret identity things ever.
No, that's a good comedic beat for sure.
Watching the other person, like, you know, light Yagami, like, trying to construct everything. The other person's like, yeah, I knew 10 minutes into meeting you. Like, you know, I do think it's an extremely fun, extremely fun bit. No marks on that trope.
Yeah, it's just a classic to me. It's so fun. It can have like heart-wrenching drama, but the comedy aspects are also just top tier.
Too good. I
love when things are funny. It's good.
Yeah. Because it's kind of connected, let me pick the secret royal or like secret family thing, which is hard for me because it's like a subgenre of secret identity, right?
Oh, okay. So this is on purpose. I thought when I read this, it implies that the person doesn't know, but then finds out they were secretly all along.
The thing is, it depends, right? Okay, we kind of have different things. We can have it in like Lord of the Rings, Aragorn, right? He knows that he is the heir, and he's like, he just doesn't tell people. Or we can have the situation where it's like, you were my bastard all along, papa, secret something. So maybe let's go with the second thing, because that was also what you had in mind. I was about
to say, when I read secret royalty, it's like, oh, you were secretly a prince all along, and actually you get to inherit this kingdom, or whatever, right? Or you were secretly from this family, this is why you have the most badass magic imaginable, or whatever.
Yeah, okay,
that's how I read it.
I can already see in what direction you're going on our tier list, with just the things you've been just saying. I want to point out here that I do like a good... this sounds dumb. I do like a good bastard story. We did talk about this in, like, messages.
#Henry.
No, because I was like, okay, so I'm having a Kingdom Come Deliverance phase for quite a while, right? And I wrote Ren. I was like, I'm loving the Assassin's Apprentice. Fitz is very Henry coded. No / that. Henry is very Fitz coded because that came out first. No / that. I think I just like a good bastard story because that usually, like, because then I also kept thinking about Jon Snow. That usually just encapsulates a lot of feelings of loneliness and where do I belong and all that kind of stuff that I just yearn for when I read a story. I'm like, yes, that's the kind of torture I'm here for, I'm signing up for. That's something I like. However, that implies that the person at least knows that they are a bastard or that they've been left by a parent. So I think if we just go with the direction of they didn't know they were, like, quote unquote, this special, I'm gonna say with I don't like it, or even a no. Because sometimes it's just very annoying to have the fruits of labor of a character be diminished to a bloodline or a title in that way. Because it's like, look at what they achieved. And they're not being rewarded for this. They're being rewarded for somebody fucking 20 years ago. And now they get whatever. I am thinking, for example, also of the Star Wars sequels, right? With Rey suddenly being made a Palpatine. It's so fucking weird. Again,
though, not the only problem with...
No, that's not the only problem, but that grinds my gears, because the girl goes through a lot of shit, and in the end it's like, oh yeah, you're a Palpatine, you know. This struggle isn't because of your trauma or whatever, but because we're all kind of fucked up. So I would go with no. Let's put the secret family to no. It's not a kill me, and we're just gonna bracket out the bastard, the Henry of Skalitzes and Fitzes and Jon Snows out of that equation, for me at least.
I think the secret part of it implies that at least the reader is not aware, even if the character is aware for a long time. So I feel like it has to be... Like, I feel like if you're introduced to a character as like, oh yeah, he's this guy's bastard, whatever, then that's not secret, even if it's secret from other characters.
Yeah.
Because I feel like if, But I also, the trend was obvious. It's also a no from me. And in one way, I agree with you that it's, diminishing the value of characters' achievements. But in other ways, in a more thematic sense, I also hate it because often it just reifies the idea of, oh, blood matters and the divine right of kings is totally valid and good, and actually some bloodlines just are better than others. Yeah. Some people are just born better, and I don't know, for some reason I find that kind of off-putting as a worldview. Like, I understand in fantasy settings you do just have sometimes, stuff like that, but often it's just kind of off-putting because most stories don't actually interact with it in the way that it is off-putting, but or would cause problems in a magical society. But they're just like, it's just a fact of the world. Some people are just better and they have titles and they're more beautiful and powerful. This says nothing about people's ideas in the real world, by the way. This is totally... this cannot be extrapolated in any way. So I do love a good reveal, but I think I would only appreciate this if it sucks for the character. I don't think it should be... I think secrets revealed about characters should most of the time not just help them out of problems that they had, but they should cause more problems. You should find out you're related to this guy, and now all your allies don't trust you anymore because they're like, we hate that guy.
Yeah.
Right, but that's often it's like this justification where it's like, oh yes, you have reached heights, but look, you also happen to be related to this ancient, family of magic users, which means you have an ancestral claim to this throne. Isn't that nice? And it's like, no, that's bad. That's bad, actually. Yeah. That's worse. You made it worse. So
it's like imagine the Throne of Glass, but we only find out Aelin is Aelin Galathinius in like book 5.
God, that would be so funny.
And it's just like,
it would be bad, but it would also be just like,
oh yeah, she's this exceptional warrior. She has so much skill. She has managed to amass all of these people. Oh, it's also because she's from like an ancient bloodline of like super badass rulers. So. She's
literally related to like the ancient Fae, the most powerful people who ever lived. Cool. Yeah.
So it wasn't her being smart or anything.
No. She's just God's special princess. You know how it goes.
I mean, she also is that, yes, but...
Yeah, literally.
All right.
But yeah, no, I love that we agree sometimes very, very strongly.
Sometimes. Don't get used to it.
No, off microphone, We try to kill each other with hammers every day. Don't worry about it. It's enrichment for us.
I edited the actually, no, it came out today on our channel. The spear cuts through the water episode.
Some insight into our recording habits.
The hammer thing immediately gave me visions. If you want to know what that's about, check out the spear video.
But also read the book first, because it's a good book.
Oh yeah. Well,
but yeah, okay.
What's your dealer's choice?
My dealer's choice is... let's go from the end. Alternate universe. So this is not as in, in a fanfic AU, but we're talking about an original piece of fiction which contains alternate universes that either people travel to or that are in some way relevant. Alternate universes exist there and they interact in some way. I know that this is, in some ways, especially, I feel like it's more a staple in sci-fi than fantasy, I would say. I feel like, because a lot of alternate universes, I feel like, often get, like, a techno-babble overlay, if I think about it. When I think about it, having read it in, original fiction.
Yeah.
But I'm also gonna be honest, I don't really care for it. I feel like it's badly used most of the time I've seen it. Many times it feels like a cop-out, where it's just like, oh, here's an alternate universe that gives us easy insight into characters that we wouldn't have had before, just randomly. Or, oh, here's an alternate universe that happens to still have the artifact we accidentally lost in our universe. Ooh, how useful. It's just... I just don't find it compelling as an idea.
Yeah. For me, it's like if different, or there's like, the multiverse approach, where it's like, okay, I feel like the alternative universe would be having like small differences, like for example in a time travel thing, or what you said, and like, oh, there's an artifact still exists, and then you have the alternative universe thing where it's so removed from the like original universe that it's a fun little thing to dive into. I say I'm not mad about it. I'm also not feral about it. I like a certain flavor of alternative universe is fun. I like the time travel alternative universe, because that's just, I think that especially is fun for like something that's episodic, like not necessarily a one long book, right? But like always little things and quips here. Especially in the sci-fi sense. So I'm gonna put it at...
It's neat.
No, at... Because sometimes it's also not as neat. But now I'm thinking about the time... It's neat. Now I'm thinking about the time traveling, so let's put it at it's neat. I'm just thinking about, as shit as the Loki show was a couple of times, one thing that got me going a lot was the different timelines they jump onto and just have fun. And that's cool. I really like that.
Though, I mean, these are connected, but if you're going more for the time travel angle, I feel like that's its own trope, kind of. I mean, you can put it wherever you want, right? Like, this is not...
No, I also like an alternative universe reveal where it's like, in the beginning you're like, oh, I think the spell or the machine or whatever might not have worked and everything is normal, and then there's like one big thing that changed and it starts to creep up on the people, and it's like, oh, like this reveal moment. No, I think it's neat. No, the more I think about it. Okay. Let's go with Hidden World. because while you were talking, I was like, what's the difference between a hidden world and alternative universe? So I understand a hidden world as in like an urban fantasy, for example, where it's like there's the, like if you take, for example, the Folk of the Air thing, right? You have the normal world,
fairy
and then
world is a classic hidden world,
and then it's like hidden in between, or like any urban fantasy.
Most people can't access or see it, but it exists, and those initiated can find it. Right? Yeah, stuff like that.
I'm gonna give it a. I don't care for it much. Like, not in a way that I think a story is bad or anything that includes it. That's not the case. But, like, that's not what makes a story interesting to me. And a lot of tropes surrounding a hidden world also don't do it for me. So it's just, I don't have strong feelings about it, I'd say.
I'm gonna have to talk my way through this, because right now I don't have strong feelings on it. Because I feel like it is such a classic urban fantasy trope, and I do enjoy a good urban fantasy. Sometimes I'm even known to enjoy a bad one, but that's much rarer.
but it's great because you usually don't enjoy any bad thing. So that's already like...
That's true. I'm bad at ironic enjoyment. I'm often just hateful. It's a problem. And I do like it sometimes because obviously you cannot really expect every urban fantasy writer to also come out with an entire alternate history way the world works if you introduce magic into it from the beginning, basically.
Yeah.
But I also feel like often it feels like a cop-out where you're like, okay, you're just hiding the wizards in their, segregated enclaves because you don't want to think about how history would be different if they actually interacted, and they don't actually have good reasons not to interact. So I will say I do enjoy fairy lore. I do really enjoy, somebody stumbling into a fairy den and then getting fucked over 6 ways to Sunday. I do think that is fun. I do think
you also like it without the over, it's
Yeah, I mean, big erotica fan here. Obviously, I read about sex all the time. It's my favorite thing, well known for enjoying every sex scene I've ever read.
I am a witness, that Ren has a whole shelf that is just Sarah J. Maas.
You're literally wrong, because you know what's also on that shelf? The whole Raven Boys trilogy, which we all know has 0 sex. Not even gay sex, which many people were sad about.
It's teenagers! Okay, anyways.
Yeah, but I mean, sometimes teenagers are also like, I'd like to see these teenagers fuck.
That is true. Out of context, that is a bit weird, but...
Yeah, no.
Yeah.
But, so, I have mixed feelings on that. Because it also, again, it often feels like kind of a cop-out, where it's just like, oh, you just segregated this bit of the story so you didn't have to do the world building of considering what a world would look like in which this existed. Which, again, I kind of get because it's hard, and sometimes you just want to tell a fun, campy story, or you just want to, tell a specific thing where you kind of need it.
Yeah.
And you don't want to sit there and ask people with a history PhD, hey, do you think this would have affected the settling patterns? Do you think the city would have become the capital ever if, these things had... Right, there's so much. I do kind of get it, but as a thing itself, I think I don't feel strongly about it either.
Yeah.
I feel like I don't mind when it's there, but you're not hooking me with saying, oh, this has, like, a hidden world in it, If you're like, oh, and these wizards, they live in secret, and that's their secret world. And I'm like, well, I think it'd be interesting to see how people would live if wizards were real. I think it's more interesting, actually.
I think so. Yeah, I think that's one thing that is also, like, peeves me the most when reading stuff like this, because I'm like, I mean, a society can still be hidden without it there being like this whole hidden world thing. And then it's much more interesting of seeing how because in fairy lore, a lot of times it's just an initial thing. You can't see what's happening because you don't have the skill. And it's not because the fairies are purposefully hiding things. So I think that's more interesting if we talk about wizards or sorcerers, for example, like you just said.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, kind of a nothing burger, this one, I guess.
Yeah. Ooh, okay. Let's go with magical school. Boy, this is hard in a way where I'm like, I'm so annoyed by this trope. But at the same time, I crave it. I crave it like a Riverdale
You're in an
episode.
abusive relationship with magical
no,
schools.
I'm trying to... Because it's like, a lot of times a magical school is so fucking convenient, right? Because it's like, the same way I'm counting... I'm counting, like... Xavier's school for like special talented children as a magical school as well, yes. Right? It's so fun in a way because you're like, oh, we've got this place with all of these people who have the same skill or skill set as our protagonist, and like usually this is connected to a hidden world thing, where you get to that hidden world and suddenly it's revealed to you how amazing all of this can be. But at the same time, a magical school a lot of times is just also kind of boring in a way because there's rarely like I feel like rarely there is a big plus to the story that we get, except for an introduction. It feels like a sort of lazy introduction. You're like, oh, I have a teenage character with powers. Teenagers have to go to school, so I'm sending them to magical school. But again, on the other hand, I fucking love it. I love, then they get to the different like subjects, and then there's always like something like magic zoology shit, and
because it's not just magic horses.
I know, because it's not because it's not like I don't have I have strong feelings, but they're like horse show theory, you know, they're like on both ends of the spectrum. I guess it's because if it's done well, it's so good, but as soon as it's done just a smidge of, it annoys me to no end. I guess it hurts me to say this, but I guess I have to go with I don't like it, even though, but this is torture, man.
This is really funny.
Nah, let's stay with don't like it. I have to make strong decisions here.
Okay.
Yeah.
I do agree with you that often it can feel very formulaic, and there is a lot of, especially, I feel like middle grade content that features schools and stuff. But I will openly admit, I haven't read that much magical school stuff. But I do like the concept. You know what would really get me, which I haven't seen much of, is a magical, like, university. I would love, like, that I think could fuck so much harder. Because then it's people choosing to go, you know, and it's, you know, not about children, because as an adult, reading about teenagers' problems has gotten kind of uninteresting. And of course, I also have to rep my beautiful Skullman series by Naomi Novik, which has a banger magic school in it. Bro, which I love. Because living there sucks.
Yeah. I also just remembered Camp Half-Blood.
Yeah, that also counts, I would say.
Just push my thing to its need, okay? Just push it to its need. And,
yeah, let's meet at its need.
Let's meet at its need. I know... I don't think this series is something for you, but The Magicians has basically a magic school university. But I don't think the series would be something you enjoy.
I mean, I tried watching it like a few years ago. I think probably as a teenager, and I found it overly grim. Like it felt like it was trying to be edgy on purpose, which I found mostly annoying because I was like, okay, you're being really try hard. I don't care about that.
It is pretty dark. I watched the show and then I also started reading the books, but the books are more grim, it feels like, because the characters are a bit younger. I will say, though, one of the funniest thing that show did was they filmed the finale in secret with the main character. So during the red carpet, all the other castmates got to see like a different ending. So they were all like, oh yeah, this is what happens. And then they watched the last episode and the main actor was the only guy who knew what actually happens. And they're all like,
that's so
stop.
Weird. What?
I thought it was really fun. Yeah, because they didn't want anybody to blab. So they pulled in.
But I feel like that's also embarrassing. I'm like, they're adults. Who cares? Like, if you don't trust your story to hold up, then like, I think that's weird. If your actors already signed an NDA to not talk about it before it comes out, I think that is just extremely weird behavior. You don't need to start gaslighting your professional actors into believing stuff the effort this takes. And spend your time and spend people's, work time on useful stuff. Why would you do that? That's weird.
I still thought it was very funny. It's like, I think it was for the trailer for The Last of Us 2. They switched out Joel with another character. So that people were like, oh my god, is this guy gonna die? Whatever. And then people started playing the game and noticed in that one scene, which is like happens shortly before he dies, they're like, in the trailer, this wasn't Joel. What the fuck?
See, I also think that's embarrassing. I think false advertising is always embarrassing. If you don't trust your product, you could have used other scenes for advertising. If you didn't want people to know or intuit that he might die, just don't show it in the trailer. Don't be a pussy. Like, if you're scared, your audience will be upset. Don't do it if them being upset is something you don't want, Like, just commit to the thing you actually did.
No, I love a bit tomfoolery and fuckery. I actually think it's funny. But yeah, it's we were getting off track again. We were talking about magical schools.
We were talking about magical schools, which are neat by consensus.
Yeah. It's the first consensus thing we have. No, MacGuffin and Hidden World.
We started with a beautiful agreement, and the Secret Royal Family is also
that's true.
Agreement in no.
We actually have quite a couple of agreements. I was talking fake news. All right. I think you have to pick again.
That's true. Let's do the big quest, or the quest, as it's sometimes called on some lists. And I think this is again the part where it's like, I love reading fantasy, but I don't really read fantasy from the 80s, 90s, where this was such a huge thing. Where, the characters going on, like the classic Lord of the Rings. Oh, we have a big quest to fulfill, and that basically meanders through several books. I just realized that the fucking Drachenkämpfer books are definitely also that. Or at least the Schattkämpfer books are that. Which I forgot about. But
how can you forget?
I have read but I just wasn't thinking of what the plot was like. But I don't think I've read that much of it, and I will say I don't find it a very compelling plot structure, because I feel like often it requires a sort of world building that accommodates it, which I feel like often then is just kind of like fetch quests, where it's just like, you're sent out to do the thing, and you do the thing because that's your job. Not it feels a lot less intrinsically motivated in many ways. And also I just don't care about it much. Yeah, I think it's more of a
Yeah. I say, as an enjoyer of tabletop RPGs, and specifically D&D, the big quest is a very, very common, if not the most common way to get your players together. And that's, in the end, usually what your stories revolve around, because very rarely you start out of the box with a very experienced DM, with a very intricate story. And also in the beginning, when playing, you're usually just so like overtaken and overwhelmed by the game itself, so that a simple "hey, this is your big quest, guys," is usually the easiest to follow. And so I am quite used to that like schematic, I'd say, in fantasy stories. I don't mind it that much. It has to be, I feel like stories that include the big quest like have to try even harder with interesting characters, because usually a big quest usually never is that interesting. It is usually big in scope, but it's, as you said, fetch quest like, right? Like it's very,
it's like, yeah, do this thing. It's super important, but like, is it interesting?
It's very straightforward. I like a big quest that gets derailed and then the big quest actually turns into another big quest. That's a fun one. But I would say it's also an for me. It's a thing. I know it's a thing I'm used to. I notice, I'm like, okay, this is, same procedure as every year. And then you just go with what you know. I would say for the big quests. Yeah. All right. Let's go with Lost Civilization. Ooh, I feel like that's usually that's more done in sci-fi, which is like, I love it as a trope. I think it's really fun. Sometimes it's a bit too convenient. A Lost Civilization can be used as like a very interesting point for like resource management, like knowledge of science, and also like, oh no, the atrocities, performed by this Lost Civilization. But in the same way as the Mentor, sometimes it's a bit too fucking convenient. And a lot of times it's connected to a really dumb MacGuffin. And I would say, for me, sometimes I also really love it. If the Lost Civilization like becomes its sort of own character in the story. I have to say, I don't care much for it if it's just like, oh yeah, back in ye olden days, there was this thing.
15,000 years ago.
15,000 years ago, something happened. So I'm gonna say, because of my sci-fi heart, I'm gonna say it's neat.
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 I will say, I often feel like, as you've mentioned, there's a layer of convenience to it. And I also feel like sometimes it even falls into the, hey, this is kind of a bit racist vibe. When, so this, where it has taken obvious inspiration from, Aztec culture or something, like there's often like that kind of bend to it. There's also the whole like, oh, ancient Egypt equivalent or something. Sometimes it's just, that flavor is sometimes there. But yeah, oftentimes I feel like it's very convenient. I will say, as a kid, I very much enjoyed playing Tomb Raider. I thought it was very fun. I love, like, jumping around, exploring. Yeah. That's fun. But that's not storytelling. That's just It's just like a video game where most of it is like action focused and you're doing like platforming, right? It's not about the story there. And I feel like if a Lost Civilization is like explored in an interesting way, as you said, where it kind of becomes its own character, where someone clearly put a lot of thought into it and it is relevant to the story in a way where you're like, oh my god, this really adds to everything that's going on. I like it, but that's not really my experience with it, so I'm actually putting it under don't like it. I feel like often it's just kind of like, and here, because it happens a lot. Here we have this ancient lost civilization. Here we have some ruins. Go explore them. Find a convenient artifact. Someone might land in a less convenient trap, and that's just how it goes. It's just a thing that's part for the course.
Yeah. One of the lost civilization tropes that I like, that like they do, for example, in Mass Effect, is the spiraling realization that you're like, oh, I now know what happened to this lost civilization, why they were killed, and the same thing is coming for us again. Like, it's sort of a repeat of story sort of thing. That's something I enjoy about lost civilization stories. But yeah, unfortunately, a lot of times it's like a MacGuffin thing. Yeah, like the typical, as you said, Tomb Raider kind of thing. Indiana Jones is like, oh, yeah, okay, whatever,
And it's like, just because you're technically not talking about a real civilization that existed in the real world doesn't mean it doesn't also have the vibes and connotations that those stories also bring with them.
Yeah.
Which, No. I do, like, again, anything can be good if it's executed well, but if somebody comes out and is like, oh, the story has like a lost civilization, I am more cautious than excited.
I am cautiously excited if that happens.
Well, look at that.
All right, pick one last of the two, which we're going to talk about first.
Yes. Let's do the animal companion.
Uh-huh.
I love animals. I think...
Yeah.
I think they're very cool. They're very cute. However, I will say animal companions, most of the time... Well, in fairness, I feel like they are a lot more prominent in stories that are specifically focused at young readers, children, teenagers, and I am not that. So I am not the target audience there. But it also, well, there are different flavors, right? You have animal companions that's just like, yeah, this is my pet falcon. It's an intelligent animal and I like it and it, helps me with stuff. But it's an animal. And then there are talking animal companions who are quirky sidekicks who have opinions and share them. So there are some diverging vibes here.
Yeah.
Because I think a genuine animal companion can be neat. I think that can be nice, although often it also feels like, in many cases, there's a setup and then that thing dies or is brought back or whatever, and you're like, well, didn't see that coming, like, at all. You gave a cute animal to the main character? That's crazy. Something happened to it? I'm aghast. I could not have predicted such a thing.
Yeah.
But other times it's just like, well, it's nice to see how people treat things that aren't other people, that are also have feelings and are intelligent, but they're, in air quotes, lesser as society sees it, and how, those interactions can be interesting. And I do have a soft spot for, an animal companion helping or saving the day in some way. I do think that can be very cute. But on the other side, we have the talking animal sidekick, which in most cases, I want to punt into a volcano. It's not good. I don't like these. so many times it feels like they're either there to provide snarky commentary, or they're there for our main character to verbalize their thoughts, so they're not thoughts, but they're dialogue. And then, again, I understand. Most of this is aimed at a much younger audience who loves that because they love animals, because they're kids. They're like 10 years old.
Yeah.
But for me, it's not for me. So putting this on a tier is difficult because the two sides are very different.
Yeah, because it's not like you hate animals. So it's like, it would be, if you say no or don't like it, it's like, it's not because you don't like animals, you know?
Right, it's not like, I don't dislike when a person has an animal companion that is just like, yeah, that's my pet. That's a pet that I have. That also is sometimes useful, or it's just my emotional support thing. You know, that's fine. But the talking ones, man, the talking ones.
You gotta pick, buddy. You gotta...
Yeah,
you gotta take the animal companion out the back door.
I'm gonna have to put it at don't like it, because the overwhelming majority sucks so bad. Even sometimes when they don't talk, they suck so much. It's not.
I think
it's just not good.
Yeah, I think one of the biggest actors in contribution to me not liking animal companions would be Disney. Because of what you said, right? But even when I was the target audience, I did not like the animal companions, because even at like 10 or 9 or 8, I was like, yeah, but like this is annoying. I think the only Disney animal companion where I'm excited to see that guy on screen is the dragon from Mulan, because he's funny.
I thought you were going to say the horse from Rapunzel.
No, honestly, and this is insulting to horses. I think that's not fun. One other animal companion where I'm like, that's great, is, what's his name? Sven from Frozen, like the reindeer. Because of like,
at least he's not Olaf, which is a much worse animal companion.
I think it's because Olaf is also there, you know. So who do you pick, Sven or Olaf? But no, I blame Disney for a lot of my disdain for animal companions. I like the idea of characters having like a pet wolf, or like a dog, or like a familiar or something. You know, when you have Druid stories and like a Druid has like a pet raven or something. And obviously, as a horse girl, if they have a horse, right?
People's bonds with their horses, yeah.
And that's not just a random horse, but it's like God, I only know the German name, Plötze in The Witcher. What's the English name? The Witcher's horse, right? That kind of sort of thing where it's
like... Roach?
Roach, thank you. I only knew the
I have neither watched nor played this. It's osmosis through the internet.
That's the kind of, where it's like, that's his horse, you know? It's always there, it's steady, it does what it's supposed to do, get some pets, get some oats and nice treats along the way, that's fine. But I think one important thing you said is if it's a pet, in a way, that I think is completely fine. One interesting thing in Assassin's Apprentice is that Fitz can, like, I think, what's it called, bond with animals, and he can, like, basically use their senses and shit, but he's not supposed to. I mean, I'm still in the part where he's a child, so people are like, don't do that. That's not allowed. I know you think there's no downside to this, but there is, boy.
They're like, don't fry your brain, you're like 8 years old, stop.
Don't fry your brain with the puppy that you like Avatar connected with, right? But yeah, so it's a fickle... Animal companions are a fickle mistress, and I'm also gonna put it at don't like it. Mostly
Fair.
because Disney burned me.
Yeah, it's...
Which is a shame to say, because I love my pebbles and my mutt in KCD, but...
Right,
yeah.
I think animals can add so much, and I do think the vibes of like a familiar are different than an animal companion, because the word animal companion in my brain is just associated with like this peppy, quippy, DreamWorks eyebrow face.
Oh my god! You know, if it's a female animal companion, it still has hips and boobs. You know, that kind of.
It's got the
vibe.
Lashes at least. The eyelashes, you know.
Pebbles does have beautiful lashes. You know, I did.
But
zoom
that's
in
just
and camera
horses.
mode. Yeah, horses. Have
We've talked about it. What did you say? It's either horses look insane or like princesses or whatever it is.
Yeah. And always behaves like a big dog. It's just a horse. Yeah.
But yeah.
No.
It's sad because we're both animal lovers, but we're both like,
yeah.
oh, man.
Again, it pains me to say this, but it's the truth. We're on a soapbox right now. It's just okay, training montage. You know, I do prefer it if there's training for a protagonist than no training, because then that just makes the power progression weird, and sometimes there is nearly no training. A training montage can feel like skipping ahead, though. And also, because it's now fresh in my mind, as we've seen with Feyre and AquaWar, you know, it can also be repetitive and boring. If you have too many training montages in there. If it's a time skip and there's a little bit of explanation of a time skip, that's okay. But I'm actually gonna put a training montage on Don't Like It. Give me one solid training or two solid trainings where you explain, where it's like the character actually goes through it, and then you can skip ahead. And then you can like mention a little bit of, oh, this happens, that happens. But if it's, yeah, it's, I get, it would be but I get aggravated a little bit too easily by a bad or even average training montage. So I have to put it as Don't Like It. And unfortunately.
I'm also torn on this because it depends so heavily on the medium. Because a good montage, especially with a banger song, is so fun.
Yes, I was thinking
so
of
fun
books
to watch,
yeah.
right?
Yeah,
but
I was thinking of books.
I do think in books it's more difficult to pull off in a satisfactory manner. Yeah. But I feel like that's generally the problem there. Like, I have seen it done in a kind of, you know, you get no summary, but you get like short snippets of different training moments, which I did kind of enjoy. But also, I feel like often it's just not very interesting. Because the truth of the matter is that ultimately training montages are often fight scenes, right? However, a lot of people are bad at writing fight scenes or action, which is fine. It's difficult. The same way many people are bad at writing convincing chemistry for main characters.
Or good banter.
Right? These things are difficult. Writing's difficult. I'm not judging with it, but it does mean that often for a training montage, the same way as for a long action scenes, my eyes just kind of glaze over. And I'm like, I'm reading it, but I'm not really processing it as deeply as other parts. Yeah. So, yeah, I think I'm gonna put it under... because when they're done in visual media, they do fuck often. They do kind of like a good training montage can be such a good experience.
I would say in like anything not books, training montage is one of the most fun things. I was thinking about books, and the last training montage I read, which was Assassin's Apprentice. Oh. No, Assassin's Apprentice was very well done, because it's not, like, it's a 13-year-old. He doesn't fight battles or anything yet, right? So most of the training montage was actually descriptions on what tasks he carries out for his assassin mentor, which is fun, because he just sends him on hilarious hijinks all throughout the castle to get things done in secret, and just be a menace, basically. So that's enjoyable. But overall, all of the training sequences, montages I've read have not been that enjoyable. So I have to stay with don't like it. Visually, I love it. Ooh,
it's so fun.
It's really fun in movies and TV shows. As you said, especially with a peppy song.
If the sound's good and the cuts are placed perfectly.
Yeah.
Impeccable.
But in books, it's really hard. In books,
it's kind of a losing battle.
Especially because maybe that's just me, but I'm so tired about reading, and then my muscles were aching, but every single day I noticed myself not aching as much. I was like,
that's not how it works.
Like, okay, if you do a workout often enough, and you don't hit such a progressive overload all the time, at some point it's not going to be that bad anymore, but that's not how it works. As you said, it's not how it works.
Yeah, it's like, we know what training is and how it works.
But,
I think that's also kind of a difficulty that, stories sometimes run into, because, like, yeah, obviously, what do you leave in and what do you cut out? Because it's like, well,
yeah,
theoretically, the audience knows this, but also...
You still have to mention it somewhere, because just because the audience knows is like, there's lots of things you can leave out then, and then you don't have a coherent book.
But I also feel like that differentiates a really good book from just a like middle of the road one, where it's like, oh, you are treating me like an adult and you expect me to put things together, but you're also not leaving everything choppy, so I have to do an overwhelming amount of work.
Yeah.
So,
all right. So looking at this end picture, is there anything we want to change?
No.
Like, I'm having a look here. I think I'm, again, overly positive in comparison
True, once again, a much more positive person than me. Yeah, that's true.
It tends to happen.
It's, listen, we need to typecast for, like, an easy dynamic, okay? People need to be able to quickly put us into tropes, and that's how it goes.
Yeah, I'm the golden retriever, by the way, if you haven't noticed.
In case you hadn't noticed.
In case you hadn't noticed.
One of us is a hater, and one of us is a lover. We'll never tell you who. It's a mystery.
I still think back to the Omega Verse test we did, which was so fucking fun.
Oh yeah, let's also rank the Omega Verse. How do we rank this on this tier?
Top tier.
It's just because you want to be on top. Just admit it.
I don't have to guess. I know, the test told me. So,
but this is private information. This is like,
this is like medical records.
I was about to say, yeah. It's like privileged information.
What's it called? Our second gender is medical records. We're not telling you.
That's true, yeah.
Okay. But yeah, I think I'm happy with our selection. A tier list, as always, is fun. Very excited to any tropes where you're like, guys, you're so fucking wrong.
I'm just looking at this and I think we need some worse tropes.
Yeah, we should go. The next tier list we do should be a little bit more unhinged. So maybe prepare yourself for that one.
If you guys want to suggest any fun tropes for us to rate next time, leave them in the comments.
We will have them in the comments. I was about to... No, I'm not about to suggest that. I was gonna tell you later in private.
It's a secret.
It's a secret. Maybe it will stay a secret forever. Anyways, thank you so much for listening. Again, so excited for your thoughts. I remember last time somebody did a whole ranking of each of the tropes.
Which was great. That was
such incredible. A fun comment to read through. So if you guys want to do that again, please.
Please do it. We would be delighted. Yeah.
All right. So that being said, thank you so much for listening, and see you in the next one. Bye-bye.
Goodbye.